Hello and welcome to this LinkedIn Live. We will talk about the state of observability because this is a new report, the new version of the report provided by Splunk. And I'm Stephane Estevez. I'm the EMEA Observability Market Advisor at Splunk. And I'm delighted to be joined by Frank. So Frank, if you can quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Stefan. I'm not going to make you pronounce my last name. Don't worry. My name is Frank Schwarzenau. It's very long in German, but based in San Francisco, and I'm the global lead for the observability use case in AWS, in the AWS Partner Specialist org, and that essentially makes me responsible for any kind of initiatives that we're running to enable our customers through partners with on the observability use case, and that is for consulting partners, but then also ISV partners like Splunk.
Wow, I didn't know Germany was so big that goes to San Francisco, but that's that's impressive. So yeah, let's get back to the state of observability. So the idea is to give you a snapshot of what we will talk very soon, because we will provide you with a longer webinar. We'll go into a bit more details, but just as a quick introduction about this report. So we'll have a longer conversation with Frank around what the customers and the practitioners are saying about observability, because we interviewed more than 1,800 professionals from DevOps and IT Ops and engineering teams in different countries across the planet, and in EMEA, for instance, in the UK, Germany, and France. And one of the key findings is that we move this year into an era when we're talking less about observability as, I would say, providing a visibility into purely technical environments, but more about observability, how this impact the business, which I find it quite interesting. We'll share some of the data, but I can already give you some numbers. For instance, the fact that 74% of the respondents say that monitoring critical business processes is very important, right? So basically, the mindset is shifting from answering a basic question like, why is it broken? Right, that's what observability used to provide an answer to this question, to how can I use this data from our applications on to make business decisions. Is it something that, Frank, you see also in the market? This new conversation going more towards business KPIs and not only traces and logs?
Observability itself has transitioned from being a cost center into being a value driver. And I think that is a huge transformation, and it changes the way, not just how we look at observability, but it also changes the persona that is dealing with observability, right? It used to be a CIO conversation. Now it's a COO, CFO conversation. And I think we see observability and having the right observability strategy as a critical part of the digital transformation deals that we see at AWS. And it's almost like you can't do a digital transformation with effective observability. So that is, it's a must-have.
It's interesting because that reminds me, one of our customers is a German, by the way, car manufacturer, big car manufacturer, and it was just showing how he was using Splunk Observability, and it was an SRE, and one of his sentence was, "For me, the most important KPI is how many cars do we sell. If we're selling cars in the last 5 minutes, then I know my IT is running as expected," which is, you're expecting from an SRE something more technical. So we see that shift in the market, even from technical experts that now more looking into how whatever they're doing impact the business. So I think it's just reflected here in the reports. But at the same time, as we're moving more into these business conversations, one thing that I found interesting is we still have some of the old problems. I remember a figure that 73% in that case of the respondent experienced outages due to ignored or suppressed alerts. So at the time, as observability is more often we talk about platform approach, right? Breaking silos, avoiding tool sprawl, which, by the way, has been is the number one source of stress for the observability teams, according to the report. And still, we don't take good care about the alerts, right? What's your view on this duality, I would say?
Yes, more data is great for driving value, is great for doing correlation and driving top line and bottom line, or impacting bottom line too. But it also means that we have a lot more signals, and a lot more signals also can lead to a lot more alerts. And I think that is one of the top challenges that every practitioner that works along the entire stack is facing. And this is just, we're both Splunk and AWS are committed to making this easier for our customers. I think anomaly detection and sort of applying smart rules is addressing exactly that. And I think the algorithms are getting better and better. Of course, we'll still have that sort of like old fatigue, but I think that we have come a long way, and the future is bright. I think we're going to get better and better on this, and leveraging the power of AI to optimize that workflow and making sure that we're investing our resources, and that is developer time or effort, investing our resources better and not into investigating false alerts.
And yeah, I mean, you mentioned that the algorithms are getting better and so on, but this is a journey that at least Splunk, we started in 2015 having an AIOps solution, and so this is something. Now the algorithm, they know where to hunt, they know what they look for. They have been trained for years, and most of the technical issues are kind of very similar, depending on the environments, but and so on. So this is, the technology is there, it's reliable, but still it's not heavily used, I would say, and there's different maturity levels in different countries. But again, I think it's very important as we're developing our observability strategy, to make sure that there is an AIOps component, just to get all the benefits of observability without any of the drawbacks, and then really support the business to the earlier point.
Yeah, and
another. Yeah,
it's great. It's crazy to see, like at this point, you say 2015, that's 10 years ago, right? That's such a long time ago. Same with AWS, like, we launched, we've been in this business for 10 years, or, SageMaker for like 8 years. Like, I think there's so many cool things, but from a development perspective, I think we're on the hockey stick here. I think it's just getting so much faster, so much better. That is super exciting for the industry as a whole.
It's great that you mentioned that, because the technologies and the solutions are there. But one of the key findings also that we see in a lot of different places, for instance, as we were talking about, what are the obstacles to collaboration between the DevOps and SecOps and things like that, or in other aspects. One of the key findings is that most of the people are really reluctant to change the way they are working. So there is the technology is there, solutions are there. It just takes time to people to accept the change. But I think it's now, because there's new changes coming, right? AI, it's a whole world. So AIOps is mature, is there. There's a generative AI. There's a lot of stuff coming on top of that. So I think it's now people as we all depend more and more on applications, is the right time to get rid of this reluctance to disturb, I would say, the current ways of working. So there is some training maybe there to happen. Another element, as we're talking about AIOps and AI and observability, because observability is very often a data problem, right? Is one of the barriers that we've seen in the report and the number to AI readiness. The number one is the lack of data quality, which I find it quite interesting, because observability again is about this. a nice way today to collect observability telemetry data through OpenTelemetry, where you can control, you can see exactly, you can improve the data quality. You have now pipeline management and so on, and still the feedback is the lack of data quality is the number one issue to adopt AI, and I really wonder why this is happening.
I mean, we just see a lot more data sources, right? I think that's the thing. We have a lot more machine data that is being generated, and I think especially platform providers like Splunk, the key value add that you're bringing is that you're connecting those data sources, right? So I think ensuring the data quality between those sources is super critical for doing those insights and value creation.
I mean, I totally agree on that. I cannot agree more. And the interesting is that the number two is the cost of the AI infrastructure. I mean, AWS is definitely one of the key players when we think about infrastructure in general, not only AI, but let's say AI in that case. We all know that you have a cost advantage when you move to the cloud, and so on. Any guidelines I think you can give on this topic about cost of AI infrastructure being a barrier to AI readiness? Is it really the case nowadays, or is just a perception that we see in the report, but maybe not always the reality?
Yeah, cost is a barrier for almost anything, right? Like you have to be able to manage your enterprise in a cost effective way. I think structuring the cost that you incur for your security or for your observability functions it's a significant cost. So you have to be able to do this smartly, right? But from an AI perspective, I think a lot of the services that we both offer already have built-in AI capabilities, right? Like you don't have to deploy AI infrastructure if you do investigations with any kind of AWS managed services, right? So, or same on the Splunk side, right? Like that is essentially Splunk's problem to figure out. But I think from a customer perspective, we're committed in AWS to making this as cost effective as possible. And the critical piece to that is, having purpose-built chips. Like, if you look at Trainium, if you look at Graviton, if you look at Infersia, I think that's so I think those are the ones that are good for adoption and making it cost effective for kind of getting that barrier lower and lower.
So thank you, Frank. I mean, basically the idea was just to have a very quick conversation about the report and the fact that of course we will have a longer conversation during the webinar, so make sure that you register for the webinar and that you download the report once is available. We will cover more in details the impacts on the business, for instance, how observability impact the employee productivity or product roadmaps or overall revenue, things like that. We're going to touch about as I said, the sources of stress for the observability teams. We talked about tool sprawl, but we're going to talk about data challenges, the quality of the tools themselves, and things like that. The collaboration between observability and security will be another topic. For instance, AI, because of course we have to talk about AI. I mean, if not, I mean, we're losing 50% of the attention.
But that's where the value is right now, right? So I think that's super exciting. I totally agree with you. I think I love this report. Everybody that's watching this right now should just click on that link, or I don't know where it is, but click on the link and download it, because if you're anybody, and this is the thing, right? Like it's not just for a DevOps engineer. It's for anybody. It's for a business person too, right? Like you have to be able to understand how observability is driving your business and helping you figure out where the bottlenecks are. So I love that report. I love reading it every year. I love that you sent it to me in advance. I felt special. So I think I think this is super cool. It's really good insights, and working backwards from the customer has been a winning concept that we have applied at AWS and that you're applying at Splunk as well. So I think this is all around really exciting.
Yeah, and if for the DevOps, I mean, thanks, because you make a great presentation of the report. But even for the DevOps, there will be also we'll talk about things like code profiling, for instance, to improve performance and availability of the applications, and how people are adopting these kind of techniques and things. So they're basically information for a lot of different kind of stakeholders within the organization. So I mean, Frank, again, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for accepting to join the webinar and share all your personal insights and AWS insights on observability.
Yeah, no, glad to be here. Thanks for the invite, and yeah, happy to do it.
And to everybody, so see you during the webinar.
Perfect.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.